everybody, how you doing? I am Sophia Parola with Garden State Film Festival, and today I have the honor of interviewing some of the people behind the making of the short film Third and Fourth Chapters. I love that title. I really enjoyed the film. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How are we today?
We're doing all right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know I'm doing okay. Kiva, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
People, we're good. All right, good. We're all good. So before I get into the interview, I'd love for you both just to introduce yourselves and your title or titles in this film. And who would like to start us off?
A before J. Go ahead, Keith.
All right, Akiba, you take it away.
My name is Akiba Rhodes, and I play the character of JK.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, cool. Yes, my name is Jacqueline Gillette, and in the film, I play the characters Anthony Williams, Malcolm X, but I'm also one of the writers, directors, and producers of this short film.
Awesome, awesome. And Akiba, we were talking a little bit before. Did you also help, a little bit of the writing and directing as well? Isn't this like a collaborative effort?
Yeah, I mean, like I guess I pitched the idea and Jock just ran with it and wrote it, and then we collectively produced it.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, congratulations, guys. I mean, I think that's an amazing collaboration. This film has such an important message, and I'm so happy to see films that are very relevant today and that are a social justice piece. So I really commend you guys on that, and I really enjoyed it. I know you mentioned to keep a little bit about how the idea started, but I love just to go in depth about what was your inspiration for this? I mean, it's such an important message, so there's so many stories, but why this story? Why these characters?
My inspiration was, I guess, pretty much the climate that we're living in today with social justice. The oppression of young Black men or most Black men with cops. So it was kind of etched in that beginning stage that I kind of pitched to Jacqueline, and he kind of just took it and it grew into what it was, to what it is. Excuse me. But yeah, that's where it kind of began.
And Jacqueline, how did you write the script based off of like Akiba's just idea that came to mind? What was the length of the writing process? How did these characters develop?
Yeah, when Keith at first, he brought the idea to me. I was actually working on. I was out in LA, and I was with my cousin who also was a filmmaker, and we were just talking about things that we had fears of, whether it be, what you want to create, what you want to do. And I said, I always had a fear, of portraying Malcolm X, because of who he was and what he meant to the community. And then he said, well, you know what, maybe you should do it just because you're scared of it. So I took the challenge. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. So I actually was going through, some of his speeches, his interviews, his material, and I came across this, which was his CBS interview. And so I started working on that, and then Akiba hit me up about his idea that he had, and I saw the connection. I said, Akiba, actually, I'm working on something that is I see the bridge between the two. So that's how it started, and I was like, you know what? I think we might have something. So I just started just writing everything down, and then it took literally. I had the first draft, and we ended it. It was supposed to actually be ended with them in with the interaction with the police, but then it just felt. I was like, you know what? This has to come to a proper conclusion. So a couple of rewrites later. And which you all will see and have seen is what became the film.
Wow, that's awesome. I love how it all started from you working on a Malcolm X piece. And you're true. I mean, I know just acting in general, it is scary portraying real life people that are also legends and people know very, very well. So I'd love to talk to you about the character development with Malcolm X and that scene in the beginning. Is that word from word? What happened? What was that process of getting into Malcolm X and writing that scene in particular?
Yes, absolutely. It was actually, it's in a 1964 interview that he did with Mike Wallace on CBS. and everything was word for word. It was straight from that interview. And this is like after he returned back from his Hajj in Mecca, and it was yeah, but that's actually that summer, and it just would everything that he was saying, and I just saw the connection, and I was just like, wow, like it just shows like how prolific that time period was, and how it still relates to today. So when Keeve had the ideas with these like, because the idea really started with him, and then when he had ideas with these characters, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this to build this connection, I have to go deep into it. So when it came to Malcolm X, I honestly, if it wasn't, I have to say this, if it wasn't for me watching the bonus features on Inside Man with Denzel Washington and Spike Lee, and them speaking on how he prepared for Malcolm X, because that actually gave me the blueprint. I said, I'm gonna do that. He took on a Muslim diet. I did that. Wow. I did Islamic studies, and I even I went to the mosque in because in our hometown in the city of Patterson, we actually had where it used to be a mosque for the Nation of Islam, but then it converted over to Sunni Orthodox Muslim. So I went to that actual mosque and was just learning, because they actually had like stuff about Malcolm X. So I went there, and then across the street is the public library. So I just started doing more research, because when I was in college, I read his autobiography, but I was like, I need to see that there's more. And there was another biography that was done of him, and I read that one. I think it was a Life of Reinvention. And so I just brought all of that together, and that's how I started doing it. I grew my hair out and all that stuff. Like, yeah.
That is so impressive, the amount of craftsmanship and hard work that you put into Malcolm X, especially because I know that that's not even in the whole film, and then you go into Anthony Williams, but there's so much of a connection between those two characters. So that's amazing. Akiva, I'd like to bring the next question to you. What was it like playing your character, especially because, it isn't a real person, it is more of a character of fiction. So how did you develop that character? Are there parts of yourself that you relate to, or what was the whole process of being your character?
Well, with that, there were some similarities. One, I'm a father, so I connected with that. It was, and I think I used that as my base as the character to, as a father, you want to do any and everything for your kids. Mm-hmm. You want to give them the best life. You want to give them the best life experience. Try to give them all the toys or whatever they want. But at the end of the day, as a parent, you want to give your child the best. So I kind of took that and coincide that with the character of JK, because, he was obviously doing some illegal things, but it was really all for his family. So it wasn't like he was out there just being, mischievous or evil. It was more so for survival of his family. So I think that was what I kind of used as the character JK to use as my motivation, was to use my children and what my motivation, my children, and wanting to be the best dad I can be and give them the best. And I use that as motivation, for JK, because at the end of the day, that's all as that character really wanted. He just wanted the best for his kids. He wanted his family to be okay. And, you see that at the end with him, writing the letter to Anthony and, telling him to basically help take care of his family. So everything he was doing, even though in the eyes of most people morally and the law, it's wrong, but in his eyes, he had to do what he had to do for his family. And that was what he felt best. So that's kind of what, I fed into that character.
Absolutely. I love that. And I mean, how did you guys get on the other array of characters and actors in this film? I know that we have, I don't know, without giving anything away, we do have children in the scene. Is that your actual kids inside this film, Akiva?
They are Jaquir's niece and my daughter.
Oh, that's so amazing. So do we have a lot of people that you know in this film? How did you guys cast?
Yeah, we had, actually, Well, besides, Akiva's daughter and my two nieces, yes, a lot of the other actors actually came way of people who we have worked with before, and like Anissa Jefferson, who plays the reporter
Right.
in there, she actually is actually a creative and a filmmaker out of Newark, and I linked up with her because she was doing a documentary of this arts collective that I was a part of in my hometown, and so I helped her with that. And then I felt like, I was like, you know what? I remember how she looked out for us. So I was like, you know what? Let me just see if she was interested, because I didn't know. So I just sent her the script, and because I felt that she could do that character because she did such a good job just interviewing people for her documentary. I was like, I think she'd be great for the work. So so it kind of went like that. People who we even know who we did other acting projects in with. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I told him, I said, listen, if we ever do something, you looked out for us. I was like, I'm gonna look out for you. So.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing how people like get together and network and make connections, and art supports other art. I mean, that's what I love most about film. And another thing that I love is how we can get very important messages out there. And I think that your film in particular obviously has both. I'd love to ask you guys what it means to have this film, obviously, yes, as I said, and really relevant to today, but it also all your hard work to have premiere at Garden State and have these people watch it that are going to be audiences of Garden State. What do you hope to get out of it? Why did you submit to Garden State? I mean, what are you hoping these audiences get out of watching third and fourth chapters? It's so hard on Zoom without passing a microphone, but I mean, Jack Weir, would you like to start with that?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first, I mean, I feel like it's just an honor that that our film is just to be a part of the history of this film festival. Like, I know I'm just deeply thankful for it, because it's just because of everything with film festivals, like it's so many, great talent, so many films that are worthy, so to be included in that, is just such an honor. And I hope that people, when they get a chance to see this, they get to see, not just the depths of our humanity, when it comes to these issues that we are dealing with, but also, they can get entertained, but also they can be educated, culturally and morally.
Absolutely, beautifully said. And Akiva, how does it feel to have this film that you helped spark the idea and produce and act in, and just what does it feel having people all around the world be able to see this film?
It's surreal in some ways, but exciting. Particularly it being the Garden State Film Festival, it means a lot because we're born and raised in New Jersey, so it means a lot to have this film in Jersey and people in New Jersey to see it. But I think what I want people to get from the film is to, like Jock Ware said, to be educated, but to be inspired. I think we hit so many notes in the course of the film where I want people to be inspired to, be inspired by the friendship of J.K. and Anthony, to be inspired by the Anthony's his quest for economic inclusion. I think that's something that Jacqueline really hit on that doesn't get enough attention, especially in the Black community, is to be able to go out and have your own money, have your own business, be self-made men and self-made women. So I think that's something that's important to the community and for the world at large, to be able to be self-sufficient. So I really like that we hit on that note, and I think I really would like people to take that from the film.
Oh, absolutely. Me too. I mean, I love the film. I love what it represents. I love what it can do and people's reactions to it. But I love that I had the opportunity to talk to you guys, because what you are saying is like just so important. Even if people get to watch your film or this interview, I know that it can be informative, it can be inspirational, so many things. And that's just the beauty of film. So I want to congratulate you both again. And before I tell everyone how we can watch this film, when it be premiering during this festival, are there any last words? Because I want to make sure you guys get everything you want to say and I don't cut anyone off, because this is so important. So feel free if you want to shout anyone out or say any last words, or if not, that's okay. But I mean, Any last words?
Akiba, you got any last?
No, I mean, I guess just shout out to cast and crew, and then everybody that helped make this possible. And I just hope everybody enjoys it. And thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to piggyback off of that. Yes, thank the entire cast and crew. And our, even our. I mean, just our community, Madison Ave Christian Reformed Church, because they helped us out a lot with especially with the location. So yes, salute to them. And of course, salute to the entire city of Paterson, our hometown, Paterson stand up. And thank you so much to the Garden State. It's the Garden State Film Festival. Yes, New Jersey's premier independent film festival. Thank you.
You guys are so wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm happy we got to say that. Let me talk about how we can watch the 3rd and 4th chapters. It will be premiering at the Brookdale Performing Arts Center virtually Saturday, the 27th, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. in that film block. So anyone all across the world will be able to watch this, get your virtual multipass, see this film. It is inspirational, it is informative, it is relevant, and it is very important. And I cannot wait for audience members to get to watch this and see all your hard work and beautiful dedication, guys. Congratulations. Keep submitting to Garden State and making wonderful work, because we appreciate you filmmakers.
Minister Malcolm, you've suggested that there are all kinds of movements in Harlem growing that you and I don't know about.
We have the opportunity right now to make our lives in this community better. So when are you gonna give up the streets, man?
But I do what I do for my kids so nobody has to.
We're talking about getting justice, equal justice, economic inclusion.
How? The law's the law. They ain't changing anything.
You really think Black Lives Matter to blacks?
Just maybe we can actually achieve those last unfulfilled chapters of civil rights.